time in the era of Florida. Before that, this, as all of you know, 9th Rabiul Awwal is marks as a day of celebration for mu'mineen, and it is known as Eid al-Zahra, salawatullahi alayha. It is celebrated in many places and possibly not in all places. What is the background? I am not going to in depth of the historical discussion right now about the background of Eid al-Zahra, but it is said, even we have riwayat and ahadith about the importance of the 9th of Rabiul Awwal. It is called Al-Ghadir al-Thani, it is called Eid al-Farha, Eid al-Zahra. One historic point about this day, which has already passed, is that on that day, or we can say on these days, the qatilin of Imam Hussein, the killers of Imam Hussein in Shuhada Karbala, they were punished by Mukhtar, and our fourth Imam, he asks the family of Ahlul Bayt to end the sorrow and mourning, and then to come out of the black clothes and try to have a normal life. So, in a similar way, in many places of world, mu'mineen, after 70 days of constant azar and mourning, they try to end those series of azar and try to come out of, they try to take off their black clothes. However, the concept of azar, the feeling of azar of Imam Hussein and love of Imam Hussein is not limited to some specific days or weeks or months. The main feeling and the passion and the connection with Imam and Imam's aim must be retained all the year. It is not limited for some specific days. And from 9th Rabiul Awwal, Imamat of our 9th and our 12th Imam starts. It doesn't mean that we celebrate our Imamat of our 12th Imam life, the kings and kingdoms of the world. One, if some king passes away and then the other one comes in his place and then we start celebrating. It is not like that, but we have some special and specific point, that is Imamat of Imam, because we live in an era of our 12th Imam and his Imamat is continued till today, and it is the time of our 12th Imam's Imama. So we try to get some ma'rifat and to strengthen our connection with Imam. So there is a significant importance on day of 9th Rabiul Awwal and so on. And as I said, inshallah, next week we have Milad of Rasulullah and our 6th Imam, inshallah. So let me start, inshallah, to share a few points about how can we connect ourselves with Imam, especially when our Imam is not physically reachable. We cannot see him, we cannot talk to our Imam, we cannot have formal communication with our Imam. We cannot write to Imam and get back. Yes, we write arizas as in a symbolic way to get sawab, to get our connection in its spiritual way, but we cannot expect any physical letter from Imam. So when Imam is in ghaiba and we don't have physical access to him, alayhi salatu wasalam, how can we connect with him? And in next level, how can we benefit from his presence and from his existence? So before trying to address this question, I would just remind a few basic and fundamental points. Point number one, as you know, the fundamental belief in Imam Mahdi is a belief which is unanimously accepted and existed in all Muslim sects. It is not just Shia's Aqidah. All Muslims, they have this belief with the name of Imam Mahdi, with the same name. But what we believe in is that we believe in Imam Mahdi. We know his name, his parents. He is already born, his birthplace, and his qualities, everything we have very specific point of view based on evidence and logic and historical facts. One step further, to believe in savior of humanity in Akhir Zaman, last time of the world, is a kind of universal belief. Almost all religions have this concept of Munji, a savior is going to come who will present in kind of justice, who will save the humanity in the world, especially because of ongoing wars and killings and so-called terrorism, actions to counter terrorism, so-called, and then especially in last 2 3 years, we can notice all of these problems in last 2 centuries, 1 century, last 50 years, especially in last 2 years, and then especially last a couple of months and weeks. Always the concept of social justice and its importance is relevant in all times. But at this time, because of the risk of major wars is very high, you know better than me, different types of wars are going on: financial wars, political wars, and for trade, competition in making and gathering and establishing mass destructions, weapons which could be mass destruction weapons, considered as a destruction weapons. All of these issues are there. So the concept of social justice and also to save this world and humanity becomes more important. The next point, we believe in intizar. It is our action and it is our belief. We live in era of our 12th Imam, and he is in Ghaiba, and we are in a state of awaiting him, alayhi salatu wassalam. So if I want to start talking about the concept of intizar, it would take much time. What is the meaning of intizar? What are the types of intizar? And what are the outcomes of this concept. There are different topics and subtopics. But fundamentally, intizar, to wait for Imam, is not just an ordinary action, but it is one of the most important actions in our life. I intentionally use this word action. Intizar doesn't mean to sit silent. It is not sukut. Intizar does not mean to sit down in a corner, put your head on your knees and just wait until our Imam comes out and then he'll solve all problems. No, intizar is not like that. I would utilize active intizar faal, intizar faalane, active awaiting for Imam. It means we have to prepare ourselves and our surroundings, our families, for reappearance of our Imam. Look at the ahadith, for example. It is narrated from Rasulullah. He says, أفضل أعمال أمتي انتظار الفرج. أفضل الأعمال. It means it is not a silence. Intizar doesn't mean to sit down. It is a amal. This is an action, and this is the best of actions. أفضل أعمال أمتي انتظار الفرج. To prepare ourselves. So when we prepare ourselves for reappearance of our Imam, it means we have to be in connection with him. Now, the question arises, how can we connect ourselves with our Imam? Many good people, many ulama, they try to establish a connection with Imam physically. For example, it is true, we have a hadith. If you read and recite Dua Ahad for 40 mornings, 40 days, inshallah you will be able to see Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. If you visit Masjid Sahla in Kufa, possibly you can see Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So we have stories when people, they tried their best to see Imam in a physical way. They tried to do like, for example, what is called in Farsi and Urdu chilla nashini, to sit down and do some specific tasbihat and a'mal for 40 constant and continued weeks, for 40 Tuesday nights to visit Masjid Jamkaran, for example. I'm not making any point here to do this. Just I am trying to give an example and to elaborate my question. When we talk about establishing connection with our Imam, do I mean that we have to try to see Imam physically? Seeing Imam is not impossible, but no one can claim that he has seen Imam alayhi salam and he has some specific message, some special order from Imam to do this thing, to not do this thing. It is wajib or it is haram. So seeing Imam physically is not possible for majority. Let me try to make it clear a little more. Ghaibat of Imam is a decision which was taken by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Allah's decision. For any reason, we are not here to speak about the reasons for Ghaibat of Imam. There are many reasons. So if we expect to have a physical connection with Imam for majority of people, to see him, to visit to him, and to have physical connection with him, it means we are trying to violate Allah's decision. So it is not possible, and it is not doable for majority of people. Yes, I would not deny or refuse that some people, they are capable of seeing Imam, or many of those who were able to see Imam, even they don't recognize Imam. So this is Allah's decision. Having physical connection with Imam is not possible. This is our imtihan. Illa Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina wa qillata adadina kasrata aduwina wa shiddat al-fitan bina wa tazahur az-zamani alayna. Which dua is this? Just I want to have some light discussion and then at least a little bit two-way conversation. Do you remember, you brothers and sisters, which part of which dua is this? Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karima tu'azza biha al-islam wa ahla wa tudilla biha an-nifaqa wa ahla wa taj'alna fiha min ad-du'ati ila tadhi. Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina. Dua iftitah, which is generally read in the nights of the month of Ramadan, but anytime we can read this dua. And also we try to do shikwa, to complain, not complain out of arrogance, but to feel our, to express our feelings before Allah. If we go to dua nudba, the nudba, the meaning of nudba itself is kind of mourning and then crying for Imam, because the most important thing which is missing in my life and your life is Imam's presence. We are not able to see him. Azizun alayya an aral khalqa wa la tura. This is the most painful issue of my life, is that I could see everything, but I cannot see my Imam, who is my master, who is my aim for my life. So visiting Imam, having physical connection with Imam is not possible, not doable, at least for majority of people. And then we should not expect any of such connection. What should we do? We have to establish our connection with Imam in its spiritual way. In Imam Sadiq Salam's time, one person or some persons, they visited Imam and they asked Imam, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, Imam, when our 12th Imam goes in Ghaiba, how the people will benefit from him? So Imam gives very practical example. 6th Imam, Imam Sadiq says, Imam says, the people of 12th Imams Ummah and the people of 12th Imams Imama, they would benefit from Imam, their Imam, the way they benefit from the sun when it's behind the clouds. So this example is given. If sun goes behind the clouds, it doesn't mean this universe cannot benefit from existence of the sun, the energy, the everything, any type of benefits. All physical creations, generally they have connection and they get benefits from the sun. So in a similar way, when Imam is in Ghaiba, people would get benefit from Imams, like behind the clouds. So ulama, I remember long time ago I read this article or some articles from Ayatollah Wahid Khurasani, he elaborates this hadith, this saying from our sixth Imam. He says, so whenever you want to get benefits from the sun, there are some basic conditions. Number one, you must not be a blind person. You have to maintain your capability. Your eyes must be reasonably healthy to get the light of the sun. If someone is totally blind, he or she cannot get any light. And this is not sun's problem. This problem is from the person who is blind. In the condition number two, if you are good when it comes to your healthy eyes, still there must not be any type of curtain and hijab upon your eyes. Again, if you are good in your eyes, but some curtains are there, some hijab are there, you stand behind the wall and you want to see the sun, you cannot see the sun. Similarly, we have to make our hearts purified, and we have to maintain to keep our heart's eyes clean and healthy to get the benefits of Imam. And similarly, Quran Majid, the Quran says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Quran is hidayat for muttaqeen. Let me ask you this question. Should we get taqwa first, then go to Quran, or we read Quran and we learn from Quran and then we'll get taqwa? Which one is the first? Hidayat comes first or taqwa comes first? The answer is yes. The high level of taqwa, the higher standard of taqwa comes from Quran after hidayat. But to receive, to listen, to hear the ayat of Quran, you have to have at least reasonably clean heart. If you don't maintain your heart, and hearts are already filled with all types of pollutions and dirts, then Quran doesn't work. Quran is not capable of guiding you because of the problems which are there in your hearts. So we need purified hearts, and then we have to maintain our eyes which are in our hearts open, without any curtain, without any hijab, without any wall. In similar way, what we notice about Quran. So if you go to Surah Baqarah again, in initial ayat, Quran says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And after a couple of ayat in Quran says, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. So in tafsir it is said, the first hidayat, which was هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, it shows we need some at least reasonable, some basic purified heart. Then when we get hidayat from Quran, and then we grow, and then يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ, and then we reach to a place which is أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. Those who believe in ghaib, maintain their salat, and they are good, they are the one who are in the state of hidayat, which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when sun rises, it shines upon everything, but the result is different. I'm not sure. I'm giving an example. If I am wrong, you can correct me. Like We have different types of stones. Some stones are called specious stones: diamond, emerald, aqiq, firoza, different types of stones. And I heard that this is because of the process what stones they get from the sun after a long time, after a lengthy time of receiving the waves and the shines from the sun. Some of stones they become more spacious and more important. My point is, sun shines on everything equally, but the result is different in receiving things and creations because of their birth, how they receive those lights. In a similar way, we see Ashab of Rasulullah, or all of them are not in the same level. Ashab of Aimma, all of them are not in the same level. Why? Rasulullah is Noor. Imam is a complete and perfect role model for all human beings. Why people are different? Because the difference is not because of imam or imamat and his guidance and nur, but the difference is because of the people and their hearts, their status of purification, their state of committing sins, or keeping their souls and hearts clean and park. So let me conclude, and then inshallah we can have some two-way conversations, or one or two question and answers. You can question me, or I am going to question you, brothers and sisters, one or two small questions. So how can we establish our connection with Imam? Till now, I tried to elaborate the question and then make a background. So there are many practical tips. If you, brothers and sisters, are expecting that I'm going to give you some kind of prescription to do this type of salat, these types of tasbihat and a'mal, and then you are going to see Imam. So yes, we are told, we are asked to recite dua, do charity for Imam, everything. But my point is, in its practical way, first of all, there are many individual actions and deeds which are wajib or highly recommended to do, but keep in mind you are doing all of this hasanat, especially the mustahab hasanat, to connect yourself with your Imam. Before that, for example, some individual ahkam and issues are there. We are told, if you want to, this is in hadith, if you want to find our Shia, test them or find them on the time of the salat. Salat in its awal time, its peak time. So you may say, these are very simple things. What are you talking about? We know. Yes, we know. And the other point, which in my view and my eyes is very important, but which can be looked very easy and simple, refraining ourselves from haram. The basic and fundamental principle for all types of spiritual growth is to fulfill your wajib, to be away from haram. This is very simple prescription, very simple advice, but very, very important. Salatul Layl is very important. Doing, offering salat nafila, doing lot of tasbihat are very important and good, but especially when it comes to refraining from haram, all types of haram, eatings, watchings, listenings, hearings, earnings, spendings. If we are able to control ourselves from committing sin, it keeps our soul and heart pure to get light from Quran and Imam. We are advised to read dua ahead every day, which is kind of a bay'at, pledging allegiance with Imam, recitation of Surah Ayat, and Allah's remembrance in all events of our life. We are in center, we are in masjid, we are at our job, you are at your class, school, university, market, traveling, home, airport. Whenever we are, we must remember that we are ibadullah, we are servants of Allah, and my Imam is watching upon me. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some more practical things which are very important to establish a connection with our Imam. Again, I think a long time ago I was listening to some of great scholars from Hausa. So he was giving different types of examples. You do anything which is a good deed, which is called hasana, and remind yourself, make intention you are doing for Imam. Establish your family. These days, at this time, family structure is in its weakest condition. And family life and family structure is not just a noble and very purified structure, bina according to ahadith, but it is a factory of making imams supporters. Family is very important. This is from some scholars, he was trying to make a point that our houses are potentially considered as a holy shrine, atabat muqaddasa. Why? There are some specific privileges, merits in our spiritual life which are special for house life and family life. So we have in a hadith, one of the greatest attacks of shaitan in Akhirul Zaman is shaitan attacks family life, and Iblis tries to destroy the families and family structure. So I am talking about having connection with Imam, establishing connection with Imam in our family life by having adhan, iqama, salat, discussion about halal and haram, making ourselves educated and aware of our duties, the aim and the final goal of our life, why we are living right now, to be a good abd and servant for Allah. And the main sign and symbol of being Allah's servant is to remember your Imam. According to our belief, every good deed comes under wilaya and imamat of Imam. So the main goal of my life and your life is to prepare ourselves for Imam, to be always in constant remembrance of Imam, through our hearts, through our minds, through our decisions. Where should I live? Where should be my house? In what neighborhood I must go and keep it to live, to reside there? In what friend circle should I go? What type of parties should I visit? What type of earnings should I have? Where should I spend my earnings and my money? For every single moment of our life, the main and the centralized focus must be Imam. This is one of the ways to understand the concept of Ma'rifat Imam. The Ma'rifat of Imam is that you make Imam's mardi and his pleasure a base for your decisions. There are many other examples to support the Madlumeen, to take stand against Walimin. And when we keep our hearts purified and clean, at the same time, try to do something. Again, I am going to give you a very interesting example. We have to do something as a matter of intidar. For example, we are in the center. Establishment of a center is a part of an active intidar. Giving charity, sponsoring some religious event, establishment of schools, establishment of Sunday school, for example, teaching and learning and having. We have to connect all of these actions to Imam of time. This is a connection, brothers and sisters. My Karbala and your Karbala right now, today, is not to go and right now or this time. For example, today is September 5th, around 9:30 p.m. Still, the Nida Istighatha, the call of Istighatha Imam is there. So what should I do? What should you do? Should we go to give sacrifice and to sacrifice our life? No. It is not right now which is asked from us. But what is asked from us? To stay firm on Sirat al-Mustaqim and do whatever you can. My point is, doing anything, it is called Ihya'u Amril Imama. What? Teaching, learning, establishing centers, printing the books in software, hardware, in different ways. Learning, teaching, spreading the messages of Imam. This is a way of connecting ourselves towards Imam, with Imam, and this is an action which is a sign of active intizar. The interesting example which I was trying to give you is, I heard from this example again from one of scholars. He says he noticed in Karbala, in Arba'in walk from Najaf to Karbala, you know, many Iraqi brothers and sisters are there here and there. The Iraqis, they try to prepare for weeks or months or even whole year to host Zahirin of Imam, and they tried their best. And we all who visited Najaf and Karbala and then who noticed the environment there, we see all of them, they try to serve in their ways. What is there in their hand, they try to serve what is possible for them. So one scholar, he says, he was noticing, or he just heard from someone, there was one small Iraqi boy, a teenager boy, possibly he had something, some food to serve the Zahirin of Imam, and then it finished. What he does, you see, there are a lot of people in some food tables or drink tables which are like more tasty or more fresh. Sometimes you notice a queue, a lane there, 10, 20, 30 people are standing. So what he was doing, he used to stand in the queue and goes finally and get a plate of that food, and once he get that plate, he used to give some walking person, and again he goes back and he stands in a queue in a lane to get one more plate and to give to some other zair. What is the point? The point is sometimes we sit down and we say, there are a lot of politics in centers. There are a lot of problems. Let us wait for some ideal time and then do something. No, we are waiting for Imamul Qa'im. And Imam Qa'im needs qiyam from all of his muntadirin and lovers. So we should stand. For standing there, there must not be kind of a perfect situation. Then only I will come, and then if people are listening for me, I'm giving my example. If lot of people are there and all people are like praising me, I have good feedback, only that time I will come and prepare myself and say something. No, we have to find the ways in our existing conditions, what is in our hand. If we try, we can find different ways. So let us relate every good deed with the remembrance of Imam and do it for Imam as a matter of intidar. One last point. One of challenges of these days to find good proposals for girls and boys to help others in getting married. So let us do for Imam. We are trying to make a good and noble and clean, faithful society. Let us help each other to find good proposals to introduce one family to another family, one person to another person, and help them to get to come forward and consider each other. If everything goes good, then they can make their marriage arrangements. Islahu dhatil bayn. Invite people. One of the ways of connecting ourselves with Imam, we have to find different people, different persons who don't go any masjid, who don't listen to any lecture, and you think you could help someone. So it is one of the ways of connecting ourselves with Imam. Just call them, he is your friend. He is not going to attack you because you are asking him or her to visit a masjid, to come for a majlis, to come for a Quran class, to come for Sunday school. Let us do this job. So my point is there are individual a'mal, du'ahat, charity, salat, som, everything. There are family related actions and deeds, and there are collective deeds. But in all of our actions, we must remember and we must connect our all efforts to Imam of time. One of the ways to connect ourselves with Imam is to remember him, alayhi salatu wassalam, and try to get benefits from him. Finally, in all of our efforts, we have to try to increase our knowledge and learn as much as we could, more and more, to get more ma'rifat. Sallu ala nabi wa alayhi. So is there any question, any objection, anything? So we can have. Ji. Yes, so she is basically adding one more point. So which is somehow one more step. not just avoiding haram, but just increase your akhlaq, try to elevate your status when it comes to your behavior, right? And we have Rasulullah's milad next week. So one of the famous sayings of Rasulullah, "Bu'ithtu li'utammima makarim al-akhlaq." Rasulullah says, I was sent as a messenger, not just to deliver the merits of akhlaq, but to make it perfect. Utammim, to complete it, to make it perfect, the akhlaq. So yes, this is the reason behind the remembrance of all Aimma and Ahlul Bayt, and we try to mention their fada'il, not just the sake of, for the sake of just talking and then giving points, but to learn their fada'il and try to obey them and to get a light from their akhlaq, inshallah. Ji. Any other question, any objection, anything else?
One more question.
Yes, go ahead.
I think sometimes we also talk about so many things that we should do, we should not do, and all that. I think sometimes very simple things we forget, very small, small things. For example, water. We waste so much water. We waste so much food. They're very small things, but these are very important things. We forget about big things. Start with small, small actions, and
Yes.
they will make you a better person and get you closer to your
And I just let me add one more point, what our sister she is saying. So we have to be careful of using utilization of food and water, especially. It is not that much simple. It is really serious. You know, according to fatwa of Maraja, wasting one glass of water is an example of israf. And israf, according to Quran, is one of the great sins. It is not a small sin. It is not a small thing. But people may think that you are talking very simple things in this time or this world when we see a lot of wastage. Yes, it doesn't justify for us to not do our job. We have to be careful when we come to center. Sometimes we see people just they open the tab and water is going on and going on, and then we waste very huge amount of our foods in our daily life, and then it hurts. Let me just, you, as you said, sometimes very small actions make a major difference. In Quran, when magicians, they were against, they were trying to present their magic against Nabi Musa, and it is in Quran. Quran says, they said, they asked, you are going to present your effort, you are going to put your stuff, or we should put our stuff. Nabi Musa says, go ahead and you do. We are, it is said in Tafasir, because of that matter, that manner, like you are offering Befarma, for example, in our Farsi brothers, they say, seriously, not just as a matter of tashrifat and ta'aruf, as a just to maintain a formality. Really, when you offer something, so magicians of Pharaoh, even though they were one of great level zalimin and kafirin that time, who took stand against Ulul Azm Paygam Nabi, they came against Nabi Musa because they showed some level of manner. They offer a chance to Nabi Musa, you are going to put your stuff or we should put our stuff. Nabi Musa says, go ahead. And then after a moment, they totally change in a radical way. How? Pharaoh says, لَأُغْصَلِّبَنَّكُمْ لَأُقَطِّعَنَّ أَيْدِيَكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ مِنْ. I am going to kill you. I am going to cut your hands and your legs, everything. And they says, فَقْدِ مَا أَنْتَ قَالَ. Pharaoh, do whatever you want to do. Inna ila rabbina munqalibun. We are totally changed. So the small manner makes their heart capable of receiving the light of hidayat and the light of Nuwah. Go ahead, brother.
Going back to water using.
Yes.
Water. When you go in the shower, right? You turn the shower on, you and then you massaging your head and so forth. Are you turn the shower off and do the soap and then open it up to wash it, or you just leave the water on until you get there?
Yes, we must be careful. It is haram. It is not just an ordinary recommendation. Wasting water is haram. If you are not, if you don't need that much water, when you are like washing your body, just close the tap and then use the soap, everything, and then you can open the tap. Otherwise, it is haram to waste extra water. We have in hadith one of sayings of Rasulullah. He says a small amount of water is enough for ghusl, and then says sayati qawmun, their people would come, the nations would come, they consider this water very less, and then they don't take serious my advice, but they are not in a right path. They should not consider this amount of water is very less. He gives an example of a small amount of water which is sufficient and enough for making ghusl. So if nothing is there, inshallah, let us have dua. Yes.
How closely was about, as you mentioned, getting closer to Imam, to the Wajibat and Mawbud. One wajib that is very seldom focused on in the West is Amr Ma'ruf and Nahy Anil Munkar. For whatever reason in this society, it feels like, oh, you shouldn't get involved in other people's affairs, don't say anything, it's not polite, this and that. What is your advice?
Yes, yes, I said this is again one of the this is a part of the active intizar to have amr ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. If society is empty of nahy anil munkar and amr ma'ruf, then Allah will punish. Allah will send His azab to that society, and we are told good and bad people, both types of them, they will be target of that punishment. So Amr Maruf is very important. We can have some special discussion about the current issues. For example, privacy. What are the limits of privacy? Sometimes parents with their children, they maintain privacy, which is good. There must be an amount of privacy between them. So, and then individualism, privacy, an extreme level of individualism, and then I say, no, no, we cannot ask others because they may harm, they may feel harm, they may get angry, or just they don't like. So they just because of they don't like, we sometimes keep we leave our real duty in wajib, which is encouraging others to do good and forbidding others from acting evil and doing bad actions. So Amr Ma'ruf and Nahy Anil Munkar is very important. We can have the detailed discussion about the stages and the conditions and then all other things. نسألك اللهم ندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم العز الأجل الأكرم يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل